Oh, sharing too. Like a phone.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's Coach Nyla.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Fatimah, Coach Fatimah.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. Coach Nazir, in the business.
Welcome, guys, to Sunday live Q&A.
I'm going to be sharing some stuff right now, so that's why I'm so close. If you're on YouTube, yeah.
We're gonna answer a few questions that we've gotten from our wonderful subscribers and people who are following us on social media
And others.
Send us some, and
Yeah, everybody not family there, you know.
That's so true. That's true. But also, those who follow us, those who ask some questions on our social media, those that send us emails, as far as that, and we definitely, encourage you guys, send your questions. If you have some questions now watching live, make sure you post them in the comments, and make sure you put question marks before it and after, so we know that it's a question. We get, a number of comments, people are letting us know where they're watching us from and all that other good stuff. So, we want to be able to get to the questions quickly. So if you can do that, inshallah, that would be awesome. God would be awesome. So, and also right now, guys, let us know where you are watching us from. We're going to do some sharing, because sharing is caring. And you guys are doing the same. And we're going to get started in a minute and answer some of these questions that were sent to us.
See on their IG. We'll be checking you as well. So please send your questions in on IG, Facebook. You have them?
Yes, almost done. So some people have already inquired, because it's shopping season, about what we're doing. We still had a discount for the workshops. You want to talk about that and where they can get that at? You can go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store to see what we have there. We actually have a discount on the 10 workshops that we conducted live last month with over 60 pages of worksheets. So before we get started, about 30 to 45 seconds, let us know where you are tuning in from, what country, what city, state, what have you, if you're over here in the West, if it's cold by you, or if you're good to go. And feel free to share it in different groups, relationship groups, of course, marriage. We don't want to be just crashing groups and stuff like that. But we do have some good questions that we plan to address shortly and have you on enough time to move about your day. Again, if you have questions, put a bunch of question marks in front of the question, put in the comment box. We're not probably not going to be checking email. Not going to be here that long. So with that being said, we just wrapped up our financial health month, dealing with finances and getting things right. So, all right, I'll stay right here and go back and forth. Khadija, alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. King Kenyatta, alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Brittany out in Philly. Salam alaikum, sis. Grassy seat.
Just about.
So good. Okay, you got your phone. We can use your phone. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Let us proceed. And by the way, my nose is itching. I'm allergic to something, evidently. So if I get a sneeze or have to grab this box of tissue or something like that, that would be the problem. Don't worry, I'm COVID free. I think I had it anyway last January.
COVID free, but not allergies.
Indeed.
Right.
All right, cool. So I'm Coach Nazir. For those of you who have not had the honor of meeting just yet, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, also known as the husband of, of Coach Fatimah for 25 years and Coach Nyla for 10 years. And we practice polygyny. We teach on relationships and really how to succeed in them. And that's not because, we're perfect in relationships. No. First of all, we know that polygyny doesn't get its fair share of fair play, no matter what. It's an ancient form of marriage that really has a lot of practical value in modern day times. So it's not even mentioned. So when you think of marriage, a person just thinks one woman, one man, live happily ever after, my knight in shining armor, all this type of stuff. But again, those are fairy tales. But polygyny doesn't get its share of fair play. So we want to talk about and discuss polygyny, its dynamics, how to actually win in it, things to watch out for, what you need to do in order to be successful as a man, as a leader in polygyny, and also as women. So with that being said, appreciate y'all checking in from different spots too. So Philly representing, who else? Brookhaven, Deanna out there, they go Salam Sis, D-Town, no doubt. All right, this organization looks important. You're right, grass and seed. All right, that's our YouTube stuff. Okay, cool. All right, so we do have some questions, some things that people had emailed into us, they commented and so on and stuff. So we're going to have, this will be our last little Q&A, inshallah, for the Gregorian calendar of 2020. So yeah, let's go ahead. You want to start?
Yeah. Well, question one. Coach and I get this a lot, so it's a really good question though. How do you manage emotions such as jealousy and embrace polygamy or polygyny, especially if you didn't grow up in that environment? That's the part that I haven't heard before, especially if you didn't grow up in that environment. So yeah.
Yeah, we definitely didn't grow up in that environment. I think one of the things that is super important is to study it. I know I was like, oh no, if I don't look at it, maybe it happened. And I think Bilal Phillips made a post, and he was actually defending polygyny, and he was saying, that's how I took it. He was saying that your spouses were already decided for you. So it's not about fighting that fact that's already there. But I know for certain, had I studied it more initially and become more familiar with more than what I knew, which was a very small amount, I know it could happen. And number two, I knew I didn't want it. Those are two things I kind of knew. But I did see some of the wisdom in it, all jokes aside, but learning about it and not fearing that the action or the act of learning about polygyny, reading about polygyny, understanding that there's different sides and different experiences in polygyny, and just because it didn't fit what I thought it was supposed to be, didn't mean it was wrong. So making that connection was very important for me, but getting educated, becoming more educated on polygyny, which is great because polygyny and marriage relationship coaches. So maybe some of that will start.
Yeah, because we didn't have us like this back then.
We didn't have us.
But it wasn't that information. I mean, we had the basic stuff, the basic of what polygyny, kind of like the mechanics of it, what it looks like. But the things as far as the question I was asked about, managing the emotions and the jealousies and the different things like that, that really wasn't out there. So, or really put out there, not that I can remember really seeing. And the thing is realizing that seriously, jealousies are gonna come, it's natural. That's a natural emotion. It's not more of not having jealousy, it's more like, was how do you manage those emotions? What do you do? And a lot of that, goes into what my co-wife was saying is, educating yourself, getting immersed in personal development, pretty much reading the books that's going to help you be a better you, finding a, hobby, if you don't have one already, and getting involved in that and realizing that you are, you are a great human being and you just want to, you want to do better, you want to do better. If you want to do better, and, work on being better, but realize that it's a process. There are a lot of things going on and, we are entitled to our emotions, but how to handle them is totally up to us. Now, do we want to handle it as our best selves, or do we want to handle this as our basic selves? Do you want to be your best, or do you want to be basic? And a lot of times, if not all the time, we want to be the best. So yeah, just pretty much working on that. And if you didn't grow up in an environment, like what Cowives said, we didn't grow up in that environment, right?
Grew up in an environment with men with multiple women, but they didn't take responsibility for marriage.
Right.
I mean, so there's a big difference in that. Again, we talk about how monogamy in general is to protect the man, not the woman. Okay, monogamy actually makes it a little more challenging for women. So what I mean is that you have this one legal wife, whatever comes from his wife, any children, stuff like that. That's your responsibility. Anybody else, from a mistress, jump down, concubine, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call these little names that diminish another human being, is not your responsibility. All right. With polygyny, you actually have to marry, take care of, and so on and so forth. They hold an honorable status and position, so it requires you to become more than the average man. All right. We grew up around average or below average men all day. I know I did. None of them were encouraging. I even had a great uncle when I told him, got married again. He was like, "You're not supposed to marry him. All of us, we kind of step to the side, all that kind of stuff, but you ain't supposed to marry." You know what I'm saying? Now, well off, financially and everything else, but morally, again, whole different thing. And we're not anti-monogamy at all. We're pro-morals. All right. So, and again, we're giving polygyny the airplay that we feel it deserves from that perspective. So one person asked really quickly, and we see some questions that are on repeat, which is, should you get another wife if your first wife doesn't like her, or do you need her permission?
Should you? All right.
Should you get another wife if your wife doesn't like her? Well, it really depends. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be hard for your wife to like necessarily another wife in general anyway. That's usually the anomaly. That's an exception. Oh, you want to practice polygyny? Oh, great. Oh, I like her. Yeah. That's kind of the anomaly. There are women like that, however, usually, and for no apparent reason, that this other person, just because of more societal conditions, not no apparent reason, but there's someone else, then there's a fear of loss. There's a what's wrong, society brings you, oh, what's wrong with you? Or what happened? And your husband wants somebody else? Look, no surprise. I'm just going to let y'all know whether you're married or not married. People talk to me about polygyny. They all want to know about how it works. What men are like, well, how does that work? This and this. They might not say it around you. They might be like, no, baby, all I need, all my life, all my dreams, everything. But they talk about it in real life with other men. Yeah, but it requires you to become more. Okay. Do you need permission? No. But you need to, as a man, make sure that it fits the family dynamic of the vision that you are working towards, which is very important. All right. Now, take whatever measures, but you should be having somebody that's compatible with you, because you're monogamously married to two different women. They're not the same personality types and all this type of stuff. You are married to them. That's your marriage. Right. So polygyny means you have more than one wife. They're not married to each other. None of that type of stuff's going on. Okay. So they may not necessarily like each other, whatever. However, it'd be more cohesive if that is just some basic little jealousy type stuff or what have you, to work toward a vision where you know that these people are workable and coachable and teachable, and you're all growing together as well. So hopefully that helped. I had another question. Okay.
Let's see. One is, how do you know if you are emotionally ready for polygyny?
Okay. Well, yeah, that answered this question too, which just asked, how do I deal with accepting polygyny?
Yeah, okay, alhamdulillah. And that's actually an interesting thing, because it shows how common that question is, because that came from at least two different people who asked about being emotionally ready. How do you know? The thing is, you really wouldn't know. Like seriously, I mean, the short answer, you wouldn't, because there are different moving pieces to polygyny. The thing is being emotionally intelligent, period, when it comes to understanding what your emotions might look like, what those feelings may feel like, and how to manage those feelings. That if you're able to manage your feelings or catch your feelings and realizing you're not being your best self, see, those are the things that shows that you are emotionally intelligent. Being emotionally intelligent don't mean that you're perfect all the time and how your emotions may come off, or right? So you don't, but being emotionally intelligent, saying, you know what, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I may need to do. If I may need to step away for a second and let everybody know, like, look, I need some time right now to sort this stuff out, so that is more or less the thing, being emotionally intelligent and working on that. If that's the case, then, you'll be able to handle and deal with and grow through, because your mindset is on growth through anything, whether it's, some challenges that may come into polygyny or any type of challenge that may come into your life.
And there you have it.
My thing is, I'll just be repeating what my co-wife said. So.
Right. It's like, I would assume, an example, I would probably say it's like when you're having your first child.
Yeah.
You can ask other people, but you're not going to know. I'll never know ever, period, from my perspective. But ladies won't ever know until that time.
My grandma said when I thought I was going to die, the baby would come out. She wasn't lying.
So
exactly how it went.
And there's parenthood, like you said, even that. Yeah. Like, there's you wouldn't know.
It's hard to tell.
Because it's the moving pieces, it's different things.
Right.
And just being willing to give yourself that permission and that leeway to say, you know what, I'm a human being. I know I'm going to go through a plethora of emotions, or it's possible that I'm going to go through it, go through these different emotions. Am I, emotionally intelligent to go through these emotions if they were to happen? And if I'm not emotionally, intelligent yet, I'll say yet, am I willing to work on that and be ready for that? So, and then, make the plan and work towards it.
Indeed. And you want assistance with that, just to be real. That's the reason we started this platform with outstanding personal relationships. Like, glad to see you got a lot of good questions. So I'll get to it in a second.
Oh, yeah.
But, and also Trinidad in the house too. So salam, shalom, shalom, peace. We started a platform because there was very few comprehensive, practical things dealing with relationships, including polygyny. All right, this is real life stuff. People are like, I don't understand how today you can go ahead and have all of this. Love is love with your rainbow flag behind you until it's polygyny. And it's like, oh, hold on. This is something moral. This is something where children can come from and live and continue to populate the earth. But someone else's version of love is love with that flag behind them can't do that naturally. So there's one thing that's being pushed, I would argue and say, that's immoral, whereas something that's moral is being shunned. It's interesting how the world gets turned upside down. So that's why we have different courses, and we just finished actually our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle Q&A for the month. Every week we go live with our members, and we go deeper because here we can ask some questions and deal with those who might be curious. But for those who are more serious and want to invest in themselves and their relationships and their families, we had a Relationship Mastery Inner Circle. I mean, for details on that, I'm going to share with you. It's that time. People are looking. You want to make a change. You want to go deeper. How much did you spend this month investing in your relationship? What books, what audios, what seminars did you attend on Zoom or something like that? We really have to ask ourselves those questions. So outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store to see what we have. And we just finished the workshop, 10 workshops. Was last month or in October or what have you. And we went deep. We talked about over 60 pages of different workbooks and exercises and things to do. Because it's not, you can't, hey, I tuned into this live. I saw this guy and his 2 wives. They were talking. They looked great. Listen, we in our chapter 10 right now. Okay. Chapters 1 through 5 wasn't the prettiest. They existed, but we had to go and grow and learn and everything else through it. So, getting maybe one of our videos or something like that, there's a process that goes on is what I'm trying to get at. So for more information about that, or to go deeper and see what we actually have to offer, and whether it does or does not serve your situation. outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store. All right, so did you plan to be polygynous, or did you decide after you got married? Maybe that's a brother. Since these questions are here in that direction, I decided after getting married. I mean, I did a video called "Why I, as a happily married man of 15 years, chose to get married again." Polygyny. I didn't know much about polygyny or anything like that. Nobody I knew had more than one wife when I first got married. I got married when I was 19 years old, so it wasn't something that was on my mind at all.
They did, but I was told by some elders, oh, they had them. Y'all just didn't.
Exactly.
I was like, what?
Which is my point.
For like 20
So yeah, they
years,
existed, but we didn't know
know.
why. Because when people talk about this outside, they get rushed and ostracized and everything else. So we had to make that decision ourselves, because the most successful polygynous unions that we've seen are those who are private, just doing their thing. And there's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? But we had to weigh the benefit of empowering and encouraging others. So it's good when we get people from all over the place, whether it's Kathy in Utah, whether it's Trinidad or Nigeria, Ghana, whether it's in Kazakhstan, all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, or D-Town or H-Town, whatever. It's a big thing. So how do you convince the families to accept this arrangement? There's an old saying that says a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And that applies for a man or a woman. Convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. One thing that we discuss and train hard. As a matter of fact, I have a video on YouTube where I shared day one of this successful marriage course to King's edition, where a man has to raise his leadership level and his influence level. So that should be demonstrable if you're talking about practicing polygyny. So again, it's a process. But with that being said, you have another question. How do you convince the families to accept this arrangement? You have to increase your leadership. That's it. And families is one family. So I'm assuming you're talking about, I don't know if you mean that person's family or whatever. I don't know what that part means, but if you're a strong enough leader and able to do the thing that you want to do, you should be able to express that, have self-awareness with that, increase your emotional fortitude, and move forward and focusing on growth and attract those who are willing to be on that path along with you. Because you could be growing in one direction, they're not growing. There's going to be a lot of lost time on the low end, but a whole lot of other stuff in the long run, if it even lasts long.
That was that thing too. I thought it was kind of like the other question that we had as far as that. How do you? Where was it? Oh, where? How do you deal with the families, like the families outside of who you married? If you got a mother-in-law or sister-in-law threatening the husband, about like cutting him off or anything like that, if he was to marry again, because they feel that a second wife would be an intrusion on his initial marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
You asked me a question.
Yeah, that question. I mean, it's like you answered between the, like the who he married, that family, the family. But, outside of that, kind of almost the in-laws, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, well, depends on where you're from. Many cultures have different things going on, where they have the father-in-law, mother-in-law, pressure, and stuff like that. Again, when you're the leader of the family, you have to lead. All right. So as a man, you go from a boy to a man, you become a man of value, if you will, and then a king, depending on how you set stuff up. And it only deals with the mindset and what you're able to demonstrate. Okay. So as a man, it doesn't matter for me, as long as I know I'm doing what's right. I'm right by my family. Does it matter what other people say? What matters is what those in my circle are concerned about and what's actually real. Because as the man of the family, I'm basically, if you look at it as business perspective, I'm the CEO. I have to make that executive decision. But I consult with the board, get their advice, their ideas, the direction, all this type of stuff. But ultimately, the responsibility and the moving forward has to do with me. All right. Not my in-laws, not my father, my mother, my kid, nobody else. All right. And until a man has that ability as a leader to do that, he's not really fit for the job. Now, that doesn't mean he can't grow into it. You can. Growth is crucial. But if you're worried about what your in-laws are going to say, they need to focus on their own marriages. Okay? When you mind your marriage, you don't have time to micromanage your daughter's or your son's marriage or your parents' marriage, somebody else's stuff. Fix you. Okay? That's what I say about it. It doesn't matter. The outside can start right within your family. I'm a Muslim. So there are many different stories in the Quran, for example, that give us so many pristine lessons. One of the lessons I'll share with you quickly is when I first learned the difference between family and relatives in the story of Prophet Nuh, alayhi salam, where he called out to Allah Ta'ala, saying, you said you were going to save my family and everything else, but Allah Ta'ala had to define to him who was family and who was not family. When he told him his son, his own DNA came from him, is not of your family. SubhanAllah, think about that. All right? They're not of your family. But Allah Ta'ala also says, the believers are nothing except brothers. So we are family. We are bonded by our faith or our aqidah or what have you. Just as Muslims. So Muslims understand that when I'm speaking on it. So looking at that bond, you have family and you have relatives. But at the same time, we also know that the very people you could be married to could be an enemy as well. You look at the wife of Prophet Lut or Prophet Lot, they call in English, right? And his wife got left behind. She was helping coordinate this other stuff, this homosexuality stuff going on. That's what all scriptures talk about. Married to, or your Prophet Ibrahim, his father, making idols. You know, there's many different stories that are there for reasons if we extract the wisdom from it. Not saying your family is all the way out there like that, but the point is that you have to be the one that's moving forward, being righteous, doing what you know is right as the man, as leader of the family with your wives. Because once they leave the homes of their fathers, they're under your care and guardianship. So if you're out of order, yeah, you just need to be getting the family. Y'all need to be trying to get some stuff situated. But if it's a situation you're worried about somebody else thinking, you mind your marriage, they mind their marriages. A man is a protector and provider, right? So you need to protect your family. Even if that information is coming from your children, your parents, or other individuals that is harmful, cause you to doubt or cause issues, you separate that as a man. That's my take on it. And we got about 10 minutes. So if you ask questions, ask some questions.
Yes.
We see some things scrolling through.
Question was, what are the benefits of being a sister wife or sister wives?
I think a lot of it is support. So with us, with raising and co-parenting our children, it's a big job. And I've looked at it several times and I'm like, this is too big a job for just one woman. It's a lot. So we're able to lean on each other in that way. There's a lot of emotional support, a lot of moral support. We've had to defend one another, and we're there to do that if we need to. That's really great. And, you know, people look at it as, oh, you guys are friends. We're the same family, so it's different. You know, I like to tell my friends that oftentimes. We're the same family. So it's just not, you know, someone I see on occasion. We're raising children as a family, as the adults in the family, along with the grown daughters that we have, they help as well. Well, this is like our tribe in my mind. And just like any other family, we support, we love, we offer advice to one another. We help each other through hard times. And it's nice to have that kind of support, because when you're in a family of this size, I know that I can go to the people that are right here, you know, like Coach Nazir was saying, in our circle, which is our family, not our relatives, because there's a difference. And know that we're going to try to figure this thing out or see how we can get through it the best. Because we're all thinking about the greater good. We're all thinking about what's best for our family. So that's what I love about religion.
Yeah. I agree. The support, you know, learning new things and, you know, all that other stuff. And we all have so many different talents and gifts and things like that, that, you know, we help each other with. That is just a beautiful thing to it. I mean, not just as being, you know, co-wives, sister wives, or anything like that. It's just even just within the family period, from the children and all of that other good stuff. So yeah, it's so many benefits. So many, too many to name. But of course, we've had our share. We shared some with you guys. And of course, we have other people that have shared with us too, their benefits too. Some people just love the big family dynamic and the sisterhood dynamic, the closeness of, having, a sister around, having a friend around, and that good stuff. So I'm doing that.
All right, when we talk about our family is bigger than the average, okay? So that means that 3 of us, we first level, next level, our children would be 12. They wouldn't really fit in here unless we just had them all squeezed in here. So that's family, okay? Just letting you know that because when somebody says, like, sister asked the question, oh, okay, good. I'm glad it's for the wives. She asked the question, what do you do with your extra time? For the wives. All right, good. Because I already know I ain't no time.
Oh my God.
Anyway, what y'all do with the time that you have? I'm assuming she's talking about, obviously, with alternating days and stuff like that.
There's so many kids in this family. Like, when we tell you we're like really booked up and we're busy people, that is not flex on anybody. We're just busy, and we're growing our business. We're doing things for personal development. We're working on our business, raising our children, educating our children. We do a lot. Throwing exercising in there, visiting family, coaching individually. There's a lot there's just so much time. And we are both very intentional, and I'll let, Coach Nyla can tell what her day looks like, a little bit, but we created a life for ourselves, just like we would if we were in monogamy. We don't just sit up and focus on the husband. So this, if we're in monogamy, we have to have our own life outside of his. In polygyny, you do the same thing. It's the same. We have extra time. I'm so glad we do.
Yeah. What we do, we prioritize. The short answer is definitely prioritizing. And as Coach Fatimah said, there's a lot going on. And we want to be productive, when it comes to, our time, our family time, the things that we do, business-wise, life-wise, and everything like that. So self-care is important. So what do we do on our times, whether it's, I say free time, your free time, I don't think we have, you automatically get free time. We all have the same 24 hours. I mean, we all have 24 hours within a day. So, we don't have, someone don't have 25 hours and the other one have 27. We all have 24 hours. Is what you do with that time. Of course, what do you do with your time? Is prioritizing. Prioritizing what's best for you, prioritizing what's best for your family. And with me, I have to be organized with this thing because this is what keeps me productive and not just busy. Because when it comes to, I used to be busy to the point where I have friends, and I'm like, I don't have that many for a reason. I'm an introvert, so just not to be. I'm like, so I have this small circle. But if my small circle is telling me, we can't get in contact with you, girl, we can't get in touch with you, you're always busy. I hated that word because I'm like, why am I so busy? That means somebody else or something else is taking over my time and I have no control over that. And it took to the point of being organized and being intentional, like my co-wife said. And so it's like now my family gets the time, I get my personal time, my self-care time, my friends get their time, these things like that. And it's pretty much just, what we do is just prioritize that time for everybody, even ourselves.
Right. No doubt. Okay. No, we don't live in the same house. Someone asked that question. It's pretty common as well. Nope, we don't do that. I just told you we got 12 kids between all of us. So 10 biological, then 2 bonus children. So yeah. All right. Now, some of these questions, you could also browse our channels if you may be new or just coming across it. And on YouTube, they're organized much better. So you can go there and check it out. Outstanding Personal Relationships is the handle. So do you plan on taking in any more wives? No, I don't. I'm not averse to it, but no, I don't. I'd rather help my children get married right now. So I have one down, and many more to go. Inshallah. What if your wife has will never like her co-wife? Well, that's a prerogative. All right, we're adults. You know what I'm saying? She don't have to like it. They don't have to like each other, know each other, kick it with each other, stuff like that. Depends again on what you're trying to set up, what your vision is for your family. All right. And as a leader and having influence. So maybe she will never like her. They don't have to be friends. You know, it works better that way, but that's her prerogative. I think it's probably childish, but you know, it is what it is. People grow in maturity. It could be something that's said now. It could change. Have you ever disagreed even with yourself? I mean, there was ideas that I may have held 5 years ago that I no longer hold. So we all change, but you can't hold that on that person. There's no, look, I'm never gonna like her.
You never know what's gonna happen.
You never know, but maybe not.
Maybe.
So, but we're adults. You can't make it. You can't make a child like another child.
That's so true.
So, you know, you got to deal with it, whether or not that's worth it to you, or if that's the reason for polygyny or something like that, or you know, you want to get involved in polygyny. She didn't made her mind up that even if you do or when it happens, you got to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? That's not there's another adult. You got to decide what you want to work with.
Yeah, this is a question.
Well, here's a simple
This is for you.
one. Do you fear judgment or do you not care? Now, when I first saw the question in my mind, I was like, yeah, I fear judgment. We got to answer to Allah. You know what I'm saying? This is important. This is what keeps you fair.
Right.
But then I thought again, like, oh, you're talking about other people.
Man, please.
He's not the,
I mean-
never been the type to care about, can I just say this?
I care about what they think. You know what I'm saying?
Well-
Children and stuff think.
I think, well, first of all, let's get this out of the way. Coach Nazir is an INTJ, and they typically don't care about what other people think in general, outside of the healthy connections they're trying to make. So they don't go, you know, so he would say that. I'm an ENFP and my co-wife is an INFJ, and I'm here to tell you, we don't fear the judgment. Maybe early on it was like, yikes, you know. Now, wait a minute. I thought about people judging, and I said, you know what, I don't care, because they judged me when I became Muslim anyway. So it was almost like I'm not gonna care more about their judgment than I do about how I feel about the situation I'm in. So if I'm happy and they don't like that I'm happy, or they don't feel happy, or they want to break up my happiness, I can't care more about what they think than more about how I feel and what's going on in our family. You know, so no, I don't care.
Yeah, with me, I don't fear the judgment, but I care. I care about it. It bothers me to an extent at times. But my thing is, how do I let that affect me or infect me? So, and I've said many a times that I wish I had that. I wish I didn't care. I wish I didn't care so much. Like, seriously, that's how I look at stuff. Like, I wish I didn't. And that's been a thing, or even looking at my past and looking at myself as a child and a teenager and everything like that. I so much, even to my detriment, where I would say, okay, well, you know, I want everybody else to be happy, so I'm going to do this and everything, and I'm exhausted because I can't make anybody else happy. I can't make anybody else like me. I can't make it. I know that. Now, intellectually, you know, I know that. You know, however, emotionally, I'm very deep in that where I'm like, but I just really want me. How do I let it infect me? I don't. Now that I don't, you know, for the most part, not to the point where I allow that to mess up my relationships that are very important to me. If you don't like me, if you don't like what we're doing, if you don't like, then that's you. But see, that's me having to go into myself, my shell, or whatever you want to call it, and just really put it out on the table and say, is this true? Does it matter? You know, is this, you know, something that you need to, you know, prove to somebody or anything like that? And when I ask myself those questions, that's how I deal with certain things. That's how I deal with the things that go on in my life, you know, judgment or otherwise. So does it, you know, do I care? Yeah, I care. Do I really let it affect me that is, you know, detrimental to my life? No, not anymore, because I'm more emotionally intelligent, and how I handle things is totally different from the person who I used to be. I used to allow it to cause issues with my relationships, as well as, with my relationship with myself in life.
I think that with being in polygyny, being like the order in which things happen, because I had somebody make a comment to me. They said, you know what, Fatimah, you can go anywhere with Nazir, nobody will care. But if they see him with Nyla, then they'll go, she's not supposed to be here. So when things happen, and it's easy for me to go, I don't give a crap about what you think about me and my family, because I was already here. But I was also raised by people that did not care what you thought about them, and they were very ferocious about that. But my grandparents raised me, so they grew up in a time where people were saying, you ain't nothing because you're black, you ain't nothing because you're black, you ain't nothing because you're from the South. And so they just got so used to hearing it that they had to really pump themselves up and go, you know what, I don't care if you don't like the fact that. So I was raised around a lot of that, but I'm the one that, I'll be that one that'll go, oh, I saw Nazir with your co-wife. Really? Oh, good. I hope they had a good time. But they're not ready for those things. Or if somebody sees us together, my co-wife and I, and they ask me, was that your sister? No, that's my co-wife. We're married to the same man. And then I just wait for the face. So I must say it before you get to say it to me. It's kind of how I operate, because then it takes the stress and the pressure off of you trying to figure out how you can come up and say it to me. No, I'm saying it. We're married to the same man. There's a guy that mixed us up, and he approached. I was, Coach Nyla,
Yeah.
and he said, "Don't I know you?" And then he's like, "No, you're not me." Because the intensity. And he said, "I thought, is your name Nyla?" I said, "No, but we're married to the same man. You could have sold him for a nickel.
Yeah,
Could have sold him for a nickel." But he wanted to ask. He wanted to kind of ask. But then it lightened up the mood because I kind of let him off the hook. So
It's like, wait, oops, no, not you. It's not you.
And I really don't care. So I'm a black man in America that changed my religion. People have been through a whole lot more than wonder about somebody else's thoughts. So I learned that a long time ago. I mean, I don't. So whatever. Moving on. There's a theme going on too in the chat and with jealousy. And I very appreciate D Hussein, because first name, last name was like, well, okay, I don't know if that's how she would speak. But I'm assuming it's a female, would say her last name, like first name and then right last name. But she's like, this is all y'all talk about, this polygyny, like, close it. Yeah, you know what? Since you missed the beginning of it, evidently. The reason we talk about polygyny so much is because it doesn't get its proper airplay. It's an ancient problem to a modern solution. It's a form of marriage, something that's honorable. And until we can name 5 people that talk and teach about polygyny, and they share, and they're transparent, and they can help uplift other people, then we'll probably fall a little bit back on that with the Q&A, and we'll focus more on the members and dealing with their situations. But until you have that, and not have to go to, Mars and Venus with John Gray, or you're going to call Elania to fix your life, and all these other relationship coaches and all these other people doing their thing that focus solely on monogamy, or they might touch on polygyny, but get off that real quick because, then we're going to be talking about polygyny. So if it bothers you, no problem. Keep on stepping, go to another channel, keep pushing it, or tune into where we're talking about other stuff. I mean, I wrote a book on parenting, parents. So if you have children concerned about them being raised up in the West and actually being righteous and pro morals versus straying away to the other side where they look at maybe your culture as being weak or foolish, you might want to check my parenting stuff out. I don't know. It's up to you.
And then the thing is about we're talking about this because, and then people are asking us these things because I wouldn't be cavalierly saying, is this all you focus on? Is this all you talk? People are going through this and they're having a difficult time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So this ain't no joke to them. It's no joke to us. We take this work very seriously because people are struggling and their lives are affected in negative ways, sometimes positive ways. But we're here to bring families and people together, not tear them apart. So if you want to see something that does that, you probably want to leave the chat on this.
And the Prophet ﷺ said, what's better than voluntary fasting? What's better than voluntary prayers? Bringing people together. There's extra baraka in this. And the dua from all over the world, couldn't pay for that. Anyway, so go to another. All right, look, 7 more minutes, be done. We're gonna cut it short, for real. Now, if you want to connect with us again, outstandingpersonalrelationships.com is our main website. Go get your downloads free from there. If you want to see what we have in our storage in our store for your relationships, different workshops that we have and whatnot, then you can go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store. All right, to see what we have in store for you. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can go there. And if you need to contact us, brothers, how can you contact with us? Support at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. Email us there. Please don't DM. It might take a while to get back there. Support at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and give us 24 hours or so to respond. Again, we have big responsibilities, and what we're doing right now is free subject. So,
Okay, how do you differentiate between cheating and starting a new relationship with a potential incoming wife?
you guys meet that?
Yes. So how do you differentiate?
Well, first of all, marriage is marriage. Us in our culture, we don't date. All right, it's not a dating thing. Even though my mother was really encouraging that, all right, like you should date and all around and taste all the chocolates and then try to choose what chocolate is best. I don't know how I came to chocolate. She didn't say that, but I'm just thinking like a variety of chocolate. But that's kind of what dating is, just go play around, play house school a lot, and then choose somebody and hope they choose you back or something. It's like the Bachelor or Bachelorette. It's funny because we talk about polygyny and they literally have no commitment, but this person is slobbing everybody down, just coveted it all up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Well, we only date, so the process is relatively simple. The simplicity has a lot of wisdom in it as well. So differentiate between cheating and marrying. What was the other part?
And starting a new relationship.
Starting a relationship. Well, those kind of the new relationship in the Western term means you kind of like dating. Well, there's like a courting process, if you will, meaning she has her guardian or wali or chaperone, if you will, present during conversations on the phone or Zoom call or whatever device you're using, or if you're meeting somewhere in person, and you're asking the type of questions that's important to you and so on and so forth. She, along with her guardian, because the wisdom just behind that, even before I became Muslim, you ask a father for the hand of a daughter. The guardian meaning like her father, her brother, a male relative, somebody who recognizes game. All right. That's why it's important for men to deal with men. All right, because good game recognizes all game. So as I'm saying that to you, I'm also reminding myself and you that men are seduced by the eyes, but women are seduced by the ears. Okay. And knowing that, men could say these types of things about another man is like, we're not seduced by that. No, this is not that. We're talking about marriage, moving forward, family, so on and so forth. So that's how things are usually done, upfront, transparent between that person and this person's family or what have you, or guardian and everything like that. So you differentiate that by the way it's done and the way it's handled. And
my co-wife and I, we actually did a video, you can find it on YouTube. It says polygyny versus, or is polygyny legalized cheating or something crazy like that. The reason why I said crazy like that, because we chose that because people made that comment a while ago, and we decided to tackle that topic in one of our YouTube videos. So yeah, so if you search that, you'll be able to find that.
You want to address that?
Oh,
There's a few up here.
Oh, I didn't see those.
Yeah. Let's go through this real quick. Well, one is jealousy. All right, jealousy is like a few different things. Talk about jealousy. So, how do you deal with jealousy? It's one of them starts being jealous. Other that was directed to me at that point. Then, did you ever compare yourself to your co-wife? Did you ever think your second wife was better? How did you first wife deal with the security that came with the second wife? Those are all along the same lines. Did we address that already?
I don't know. People try to make me feel insecure about it by saying stuff like, "Oh, you're older, she's younger, she's this, and she's that." But I'm the only Fatimah that I know that's me, and so I started to celebrate the things about me that I loved about me, and that my family loved about me, and then I found there that, he can't marry another Fatimah. Maybe a name, but not be who I've been for the past 25 years. So it's, and it's the thing, initial wives don't just experience this, subsequent wives can experience this too. If their husband has 3 or 4 wives, you know, they can experience some of these things just the same. And I would tell them, you kind of got to fall in love with who you are and just become better and just celebrate what makes you you and be grateful for what you give the world and not focus so much on what somebody else gives the world or your husband, because the relationships are not the same.
Yeah, and even if there's not a third, fourth, or anything like that, wife, subsequent wives still deal with the, you know, different types of jealousies and everything like that with an initial wife, you know, where it's, you know, could be time that they spent together, things that they've done together, a number of those things. So I remember that was a question like, well, what if he was to, you know, to have another one and everything like that? For one, I'm totally built a little different, because people will ask me, well, how would you not feel or know that, you know, she would be hurt or be, you know, have some issues or anything like that, because I know I didn't look at it that way. So I'm looking at it through my eyes. So how I would look at certain things, not that that's okay. You know, you got to realize that everybody has their own feelings about different things. So as me, a person that said, yeah, I would encourage polygyny. I encourage them to go ahead and, you know, I'm kind of bottle you up and just da-da-da-da-da. That don't mean everybody else feel that way. So, but we all have our, I'm cold, guys. You probably hear like little tremor in my, tremor in my voice. But they could, you know, when it comes to jealousy, and I guess I'll look at it different between jealousy and envy, because sometimes, you know, when people think of jealousy, they think of it as this thing that can cause disruption and discord and a lot of these different things. But jealousy is a natural emotion. You know, and we talked about it earlier about managing the jealousies and how do you go about it. And my co-wife has some great examples, you know, knowing what makes you unique, knowing what makes you, is, you know, the best you can be. You know, there's nobody else like you. Be the best you. It's been told so much, and we say it on a number of our videos, that comparison is the thief of joy. If you want to steal your joy away, compare yourself to somebody else. Compare your relationship to somebody else's relationship. You know, then you become ungrateful. You know, ungrateful for, you know, what you have and, you know, what you are building and things like that, because you're too focused on somebody else's stuff. We talk about minding your marriage. So how do you get over those jealousies? Minding your marriage, you know, like my co-wife said, you know, looking into you and what makes you unique, what makes you the person that you are, and not comparing yourselves. It's easier said than done, but if we are being intentional about it, right, it can be done.
I'm going to address something. Somebody said, why did one wife have a ring, another one no? A sister gave me this ring as a gift. I gave myself this ring as a gift. We both have rings from our husband. Boom. So we don't have what you all think of as traditional wedding rings. If you see us wear rings, they're either from someone, ourselves, our husband, whatever the case may be. But when he met me, I had on a ton of jewelry. So it's just weird. For me, it's kind of weird to get that question, but I do understand why people ask that question.
Well, it's a common part of the Western culture, and it's more of a Christian thing.
Yeah,
so we're not Christians, nor do we practice follow the belief system and things that they do. So it's really a Christian thing, which has been accepted more normal. Even when people don't practice their religion, they'll go ahead and do it anyway. So do they have rings? Have I gotten rings? Yes. But in Islam, we give a mahar, or what some people call a dowry. All right. So that right there is what we do in Islam. And we're Muslims. So we weren't always Muslims. We were Christians and all that stuff before. So we understand the culture and everything. So we were very intentional about what we don't just follow blindly like we had followed that religion at the time. So good stuff. All right. It's time to wrap it, period. But there was a question you said you want to address too. What if your husband is not fair? And look, we love the questions. You can ask them, support at outstandingpersonrelationships.com as well. Connect with us there. Keep in mind, this is just a Q&A. We do this for you guys once, maybe twice a month. But we go live every week for our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle members. So get those details, outstandingpersonrelationships.com/store/RM specifically for that. So what if your husband's not fair? Let's say he doesn't give you a night. What do you do then? And I know it's killing me. So I'll be walking around. Hey.
What if he doesn't give you your night?
What if he's not fair?
If he's not fair? Definitely have an issue with that. And it's not the first time we've heard that before. What I love about being Muslim is that we can hold ourselves accountable to what Allah says we must do. So the men have certain responsibilities that they have to see through. There's a punishment attached to things that we do that are haram for us, and we're not supposed to. There's always a punishment attached. So for me, I try to look at the person. Islam is complete. So it's those that are half practicing it or whatever that are jacking up what they're supposed to do. They have a responsibility with time and whatever was the other thing. Time and money. So my thing is, where's the integrity of that brother that he's playing with the time that Allah told him not to play with? That's kind of how I look at it. Now, I don't know his story. I don't know what's going on. And I don't know his side. But I do know what Allah says about the men being fair with time. Now, whatever that looks like for you all, you can customize it as long as the time is equal. You know, so I'm not saying every other night for your family. It's just for everybody's family. That's not true. However, I would definitely have to sit him down and we have a conversation about Islam.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you're Muslim. If you're not Muslim, you got to be talking about what arrangement or agreements that you have and honoring that and what's going on with the situation. All right, because that's important. Me, I lead the family. All right, I'm accountable. I'm accountable to my Lord, the one, my master, period. That's more important than anything on this side. All right, and at the same time, making sure you have just an understanding. Because things will happen, like you mess around and fall asleep and wake up late when you're supposed to leave or something. You know what I'm saying? So you late a couple hours to get to the other house. You're like, well, you late 3 hours, so do this and that. You have to deduct. You have to figure a way to just go ahead and either work it out or be forgiven for it to keep pushing. But these are what I call the measurables. And as a leader, you have to have measurables. How do you see what these are? These are simple. It's the immeasurable things that are a challenge. It's things that you can't see. It's the invisibles, if you will. So the emotional this, and then being able to handle this over on this side, and being able to negotiate and deal with the children on this, there are those things in your competency in those different areas. That's why we did the Successful Marriage Workshop, King's Edition, to talk specifically to the men and the husband's issues. All right, so, but that's extremely important, but communication has to start there. So last question, which is really quick. What's the best way to introduce polygyny to your partner? I would say, if you go to youtube.com/outstandingpersonrelationships, you can probably catch some good polygyny videos and stuff there. Yeah, I'm biased. Watch a video. Just happen to come across it. Ask them what they think. Send them a link. I don't know. I think that'll help. Maybe you can ask some other people on the channel as well. So anyway, okay. This is hilarious. Here go another person. No. You know, we get this one. We did a video on this one too. What's your name? Sanchez Kitsch. If the women people decided to get a second husband, I don't think you would like that.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Talk to the women people. Hey, women people.
Let's talk to the women people.
Let's talk to the women people.
The women folks.
Oh, we got a little time today.
I'll be the one in the team.
Ooh, the women folks.
Yeah, talk to women people. I mean, talk to Sanchez Kitsch.
You know, I love how people act like we don't have a brain in our head. We're a thoughtless being sitting next to Coach Nazir. Like, we're just not intelligent. You know, and we just
Tell
so
us what you want,
stupid.
and
And our brain oozed out the side of our ear. We're sitting here contemplating having another man in our life. And we don't, because I don't know anybody that would want us to. Would somebody really want that responsibility?
That's
And
what
sit up
just
and then you go
Okay.
get pregnant and then what happens?
Yes,
Take a DNA test between the two husbands?
the responsibility that goes with marriage, period. Have you guys seen football? Have anybody ever
What's going on today is right now. People want us to wrap
Right.
up right now
Right,
because it's on
seriously,
TV.
have you seen the testosterone? Do you guys know what that even looks like?
Somebody
We got
gotta
multiple things in the family, and we see what goes on with the little ones. They're little, and they're little to testosterone that goes on.
Thank you.
But
Exactly.
but to sit there and, you know, cater to any type of egos or anything like that multiple times around is a whole different level. Yes, people think about this thing because they think about it as being a sexual thing. It's just sex,
Right.
and sex,
Right.
you know, type of thing. When you're not looking at the big picture, you're not looking at the marriage, the responsibility part. The responsibility part. No woman in their right mind, I'm just saying, in their right mind, want to do so much of that, because the reason why I say that is because, yes, we're going to talk about the whole big family dynamic. If there were children that came from this multiple husband union type of thing, where you still have to take away or from them to deal with your children. Here's another thing. They have these things called family doulas. Doulas that actually deal with husbands specifically who are feeling some type of way when the wife has a baby, because the attention goes away from him so she could take care of the kid. Not that is anything wrong with someone feeling a certain type of way, because the attention, we have basic human needs. So we have the desire to be desired. We have the desire to, be taken care of, to be loved, to have these, feelings, and whether any type of intimacy, whether it's physical or, just emotional, we all as human beings have those basic needs. Can you imagine splitting that between your one little self to multiple men as well as children? Is a whole other beast. So as the women folk or the women people who actually have brains and understand the big picture of it all, that's not something we desire at all. I mean, just to put that out there. And I am done with that.
Yeah, I'm talking that too. First of all, I'm just gonna let you know that men are not just females with penises,
Mm-hmm.
and women are not just, males with vaginas. We different. We built totally different. Yeah, and I got to be specific with that, because for some reason it's like, well, what if they did this? Yeah, interesting that you would say such a thing, because, would I like that? That doesn't even make any sense. Point to the societies throughout history that actually show me where polyandry has succeeded and has been a thriving society. Not going to produce that. Polyandry means a woman having multiple husbands. One, that limits the entire society to begin with. All right, one, because a woman can only be pregnant so many times throughout the year, first of all. Second, who's the father going to be? That. Third, even being available to begin with, even if she's available as much as a man would want her to be physically, there's other issues that go along with that too. All right, so biologically speaking, just to ask that type of question is like just trying to relegate it to something just sexual. Or, marriage is dealing with a whole lot more than sex. Like, if you think of marriage, like what percentage of your time is made up with sex? What, 20% of the day out of 24 hours? How many hours is you really getting it in there? You know what I'm saying? It becomes childish. Now, when you talk about polygyny versus polyandry, and somebody said, well, why can't a woman have this and this? Listen, looking from the Islamic perspective, Islam is about the only form of polygamy, because polygamy is the umbrella, meaning multiple spouses, that is family-based is polygyny, meaning a man having multiple wives. That's family-based. Family is the basic nuclear structure to our entire existence on this planet. The first relationship we know is Adam and Hawa. It's a marriage. It's a man and a woman. Okay? So polygyny, man, multiple women, children that come from that. Polyandry, very limited, restrictful, imploding. Polyamorous, multiple lovers, that's just all over the place, just a lack of structure. Now, people can do whatever they want to do. People are going to do that. We just pro-morals. So when you look at polygyny, you look at polyandry, it's really not even a fair comparison. So, and again, do you really want that? Like, how much food do you want to be? You want to have a cook or have a big old feast for, you know, and you think they're just going to live up under you. I don't know what type of, there are some women that just love beta type men versus alpha men that are masculine. We're not interested in that. I like feminine women. They like masculine men. I'm raising my sons to be masculine men that can take care of and take care of their families and be happy in their manhood as being men and their responsibilities and demonstrate that. So hopefully I help that part, because there's a whole lot of stuff. You know, we get that a lot, but you know what? We have no time today.
Some
Little
men do
extension.
understand that polygyny is not for every man. It's not mandatory on all the men that practice polygyny.
Right.
So some men say they don't want it, so they do understand. We just need to listen to them when they say that.
Indeed.
I know sisters want their husband to have a wife, and he's like, I don't want the responsibility, I'm good.
And that's
she's
maturity.
Like, why not? And she,
Right.
Because I don't. That's it. I don't need to say why I don't. I just don't. You know, it might be that simple, but they know that. We just need to be in these circles and having these conversations and listening to their responses instead of putting these answers in their head.
Indeed. All right, y'all. That's it. We went a little longer than we anticipated.
We had to get some people.
Prayerfully benefited. Again, connect with us. Smash the like button. That helps as well. Smash the like button. Share this information. Comment. Email us support@outstandingpartsrelationships.com. Feel free to connect. We are looking forward to what this next Gregorian calendar has for 2021.
Hoping they tell in 2020 to hold his dream.
Funny.
So with that being said,
Also, make sure you guys not only smash that like button, smash that bell, because when we go live, we want you guys to be notified when we go live. So yes, and we're going to leave you with GLC. Make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. Until next time, smash that like button, that bell. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Yay.